Welcome to week 3 of BuccsWeekly, the winter sports season. I'm with head Lady Buccs basketball coach Jim Meyer, and the Lady Buccs, the last 3 games since last week we talked, they played Twin Valley South, Versailles, and Bradford. And coach, we won 2 out of 3. You got to be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm real pleased. The 2 we won were conference games, and we had to travel to South, which is always a difficult trip just because of the length of it. Kids played real well, had a great start there. Same thing with Bradford, a rare home game here before Christmas. Had a great start with them Monday night, and so those were 2 good wins. And of course, Versailles is Versailles. You know, they're the defending Division III state runner-up, and maybe better this year. And we went over there just with the goal of playing hard and competing. First quarter they got out on us, but they led by 13 at the end of the first quarter, but then we kind of settled in, and it was an 8-point game the rest of the way. So it was a tremendous effort by the Lady Bucks. That, you know, Versailles is just so big. We battled, we played hard, and you know, I'm pretty much 6 deep, and those 6 have done a great job over these first 3 games of this 4 and 8 days that we're playing.
You know, I missed the Versailles game. I had to go cover wrestling over at Northeastern that day, but from what I've heard from people, that we played very, very well. And it's almost like, you know, we lost, and also we won against Bradford and Twin Valley South, but from what people told me is we played better against Versailles than we did in our 2 wins.
Well, there's this saying about playing to the level of your competition. And if you don't go in and play hard against Versailles, it is going to be a long, long afternoon. And in fact, I told the kids after that game, if we play with that kind of intensity the rest of the way, we're going to do very well. So it's just getting them to that level of intensity. But they knew going in, if you don't bring it, if you're not ready to go, it's going to be a long afternoon. So yeah, I was very, very pleased with our effort. I wish the outcome could have been different because our kids deserve more, but it wasn't. But a great effort.
Okay, and let's go back to the Twin Valley South game. Like you said, that's a long bus ride over there, and our girls pretty much put them away early.
Well, we talked about that, about getting out quick, and we had a 20-2 lead at the end of the first quarter, and then we got a little complacent, and the second quarter was 7-6, but then we finished well the second half of the game. And the same thing with Bradford the other night, got out to an 18-2 lead, but ended up having a 10-7 second quarter. So, you know, that's, and again, a lot of it is with 6 kids, you're asking those 6 to play a lot. And there's no opportunity to bring them out and give them a few minutes rest. And so, you know, we just have to be well conditioned, but you know, the more consistent we can get to follow a great first quarter with a good second quarter, the better off it'll be for us. But yeah, good starts in both of those games.
Well, the one thing against Bradford that stood out, you know, we missed some shots, you know, a lot of shots inside the paint and things like that. But on the other hand, our defense was relentless.
It was,
and we never really let up on defense the whole game.
Yeah, it was a tale of 2 ends. I told him after, well, it was kind of the talk at halftime, how important it is to finish at the rim offensively, because you know, when you go back, we looked at a little bit at that tape tonight, and the stats showed us missing 20 shots in the lane, and at some point during the season, we're going to need those shots to go, and they will go. But at the other end, I could not be more pleased with our defensive effort Monday night. It was just tremendous. You know, Skip Miller, the freshman at Bradford, is a very, very good player, and Kenzie did a great job shutting her down. Tori, who you're going to talk to, had to guard outside, which she typically doesn't do, and she did a great job in her defensive assignment. We played great defense, and that's what we need. You know, you never know if you're gonna be hot on a given night at the offensive end, but if you play great defense, you're always going to be in the game.
Well, another thing about that game, there was one time in the fourth quarter, Rob and I were talking, and we hadn't even shot a free throw, and I didn't even realize it. I mean, we were deep into the fourth quarter before we ever shot a free throw.
Free throws have been few and far between so far this year for the Lady Bucks, so we'd take a few more of them if we could get them.
Is this the way they're calling the game, or is it?
I don't know. I really don't know whether we're hitting some outside shots, therefore you're not in there banging for rebounds, or we're doing such a great job boxing out on the defensive end that nobody's challenging us or getting around. Tomorrow night will be a challenge with Arcanum because they are a penetrate first team. So we talked a lot about that tonight, being down and ready to move because their first thought is to get the ball to the basket. So we'll see. They play a really tough man-to-man and may get us to the line a little bit more tomorrow night.
Well, let's talk about our next two games. They're both against cross-county conference foes. We travel to Arcanum, and then we play Newton, I believe it's next Tuesday. And those are two big games.
Very big games. You know, Arcanum lost some really good seniors, and I think the thought around the league was that they were going to be down a little bit this year, but they have some kids that can really, really play. And they're just getting better and better. They battled Versailles last night, real close in the first half, and so we know going over there it is going to be battle. They're going to come out and they're going to bring it. They're going to get up and down the floor and they're going to get to the basket. And then of course when you go to Newton, your first thought is Tatum McBride, and how do you stop her? And you know, Steve Fisher's a great coach. He's got a good supporting cast around her, so you know, not only do we have to worry about her, but all the other kids that have the capability of scoring. And that's, of course, the girls-boys doubleheader. So we'll play the first game, then the varsity boys game will follow. So it'll be a great crowd, which is fun for the kids because, I mean, we have good crowds, but to get that size of crowd will be a fun night for us.
Okay, well, the Lady Bucks, they are 4-1 on the season. And up next, we will have senior Tori Lyle, arguably pound for pound and inch for inch, the toughest girls basketball player I've seen in a long time.
I agree with you.
Keringten Eagles does a lot for this school and this program. We need to give them some thanks. On three, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Keringten Eagles, yeah! Thank you, Keringten Eagles! Thank you, Keringten Eagles! Thank you, Keringten Eagles! Thank you, Keringten Eagles! Woo! Thank you, Keringten Eagles, for all you do for Keringten schools. Go Bucks! Woo!
We're back week 3 of Bucks Weekly, the winter sports season, with senior Lady Buck, Tori Lyle. And Tori, before the break, we had mentioned you're probably pound for pound, inch for inch, the toughest girls basketball player around. What is it about your style of play that you enjoy?
Well, I'm pretty small compared to a lot of the other posts, so to get out there and have to play big is kind of fun because it's always a challenge and you never really know what's going to happen.
Well, and the other night against Bradford, you know, you had a really solid all-around game, which every game so far this year you've been pretty solid all around, and a lot of it really doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but against Bradford you had 14 rebounds and I believe 6 or 8 points. What is it about your game that you try to focus on to help out the team?
I just try to be defensively sound because I know I'm not that big of an offensive threat necessarily, so I just try to play the hardest defense that I can and get as many rebounds as I can to help the team out in as many ways as possible.
Okay, and so far you guys are 4-1 on the season. You pretty satisfied with the start you've had so far as a team?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of assumed that that's how we would start going against Versailles because they're really tough, but I mean, it could be better, but we'll just have to keep improving, and it will be better.
Okay, so what's the goals from here on out?
Just to win as many as possible.
Okay, well that's senior Tori Lyle. Up next after this break, we'll talk to Eric Vanderhorst and the Keringten wrestling team.
Color Green Photo offers a variety of photographic options for high school seniors, weddings, and families. We pride ourselves in providing creative and captivating images that have a special meaning to those we shoot. Please visit colorgreenphoto.com to view samples of our work and contact us at 937-418-0417 to schedule your next photo session.
Hello, my name is Ron Sutherland, President of Keringten Savings and Loan. We have been a part of the Keringten and the surrounding community since 1886. We have been serving both savings and loan customers and help promoting home ownership. Stop by and talk with Jason for your lending needs or see Diane in Brooklyn for all your savings needs. Thank you for your continued support to help Keringten Savings and Loan continue to support the Keringten community.
FDIC approved.
We're back with week 3 of BuccsWeekly, the winter sports season, with Keringten wrestling coach Eric Vanderhorst, and the Bucks got their season started this past weekend at the Northeastern Invitational, finished in first place. And coach, was a great weekend for the guys.
Yeah, we're really excited about the start of our season. Went 8-0 there at Northeastern. Had a lot of good matches for our varsity guys and our JV guys. Great tournament to start. Probably the least anybody wrestled was 3 or 4 matches. A lot of guys got 8 matches in. So yeah. Had good battles, a couple good teams with Urbana. They were basically second place. That was a tight one. They got a lot of good kids. Kenton Ridge had a lot of good individuals. We just had a little more depth. And Northwestern had a couple good studs to face off. So yeah, great start to the season.
And that's always a really good tournament for us, especially for our younger kids, because the freshmen coming in, because they get in there and can get their feet wet and kind of see what high school wrestling is all about.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different level than junior high.
A little more
and
intense.
Yeah, so just talk about some of the young kids and how they perform.
Yeah, so we had 12 freshmen on the team. Not everyone could wrestle or wasn't able to wrestle. One was an injury. We were keeping them out for a little bit. But no, I mean, Grant Babylon, he went 5-0 with, I think, 5 pins. Cale Vanderhorst got first with 6 pins. Callan Anderson got first with 3 or 4 pins, I think. As far as second, I'm trying to think. I think Riley was just the second place finisher as a junior. Duncan Cooper got second place, actually. I remember him. He was in there.
Him and Hunter Clarkson both in the same weight class.
Yeah, that was great because we were able to fill in Hunter and Trenton Alexander as 152-pounders from other teams. And Trent had a kid that moved around to a different weight and took a close loss. He won all the rest of his. Hunter won all of his and took second place behind Keringten, who got first. So, and just great effort out of the rest of the guys. David, he was there rooting us on. He was one that couldn't go in there that first match, but got back in at Versailles and got to get after it. I'm blanking on a couple of them, but yeah, great performance out of our freshmen.
Well, and one of the seniors, Bryce Kaiser, I got there and he had a really good match where he got a pin. I don't remember. I think the kid ended up getting second or third.
Yeah, actually, Bryce wrestled him the day before, filling in for another team, and got beat by him on Friday. Came back on Saturday and pinned him. Yeah, so that was a great. Kind of figured him out a little bit. Yeah, so Bryce had a nice win, nice pin there for the Bucks.
Okay, well then last night, we had a home duel against Versailles, and man, it is always exciting to wrestle Versailles.
Oh yeah, always.
They bring a great crowd.
Yep.
We got a great crowd, and they're going to be well coached, just like us. And our programs are very similar. Caliber of wrestling, and some of the matches last night were really good.
Yeah.
Even though we came up on the short end of the stick, you had to be pretty pleased
I
with all
was
the kids.
really happy with the effort. Versailles and Covington, we both have good respect for each other, and the coaches get intense and the wrestlers get intense, and so many matches come down to the wire. Either it's overtime or it's a 1 point. You don't know who's winning it till the end, and we have a lot of those. Occasionally we'll get guys that have a little higher skill level and it's a one-sided match, but we had so many just down to the wire. You didn't know who was winning till the very end. Fun for fans, fun for coaches, and really proud of our effort. Obviously there's some technique things we'll continue to work on, and started that at practice today. So, but yeah, that's a fun start. They're one of the better dual meet teams in Southwest Ohio, so that's a great gauge for us to see where we're at right now.
Okay, and you talk about some of the close matches. One of them was really close, and it went into overtime with Austin Flick.
Yep.
I think it was 138 pounds, and Austin had a lead. That kid came back, tied it up, and then
took the lead on Austin.
Yeah, then took the lead.
And he was leading by 1 point with short time, and then Austin got it into overtime. And then in overtime, Austin got the takedown and won it. So that was good heart out of Austin. He had to dig deep because he was gassing a little bit there at the end, and got out of position a little bit and took a lot of energy to recover. But then he found a gut check, put some heart into it and pulled out the win. It was pretty sweet.
Okay, and then another wrestler is last year finished, I think, 6th at district. You know, was real close to going to state, 138 pounds, and he's up to 152 pounds this year. But he's started off undefeated so far.
Yeah, yep.
Keringten Martin.
Yep,
Can you
Keringten's-
talk a little bit about him,
Sure.
his leadership?
Yeah. Kerington's be 9-0 right now. Hasn't really had a close match yet, so that's where we want him to be, right? Pushing it. 2 matches away from making it to state last year, so he definitely has goals of getting to the show. And I think if he gets to the show, he can place and be on the podium. So we want to keep working hard. He's a junior, but we want him to start showing leadership as a senior because we don't have a large senior class. So a couple of those juniors, him and Riley and Gavin and Cody, we want them to step up kind of like seniors this year because we don't have a big senior class. So yeah, we're looking for big things from Keringten, looking for him to lead the team, get kids to do extra wrestling as we can because you go out, wrestle open mats against other kids, get better faster. So yep, excited about his season.
Okay, well, after this break, we'll be back to talk to Keringten Martin, the junior 152-pounder for the Bucks.
Hi, this is Don Solon, pastor at Fields of Grace Worship Center. We are a non-denominational church with a contemporary casual atmosphere. We are a church committed to reaching outside our walls while at the same time caring for those that call Fields of Grace home. Maybe you know Fields of Grace by all our community events. You are always welcome to come on over for a cup of coffee Sunday mornings and check us out at fieldsofgrace.org for service times.
This is Andy Johnson of Bucks Radio, the voice of Covington Buccaneers. Here to encourage Buccaneer fans to support local businesses. Your patronage of local businesses goes a long way in allowing them to continue to support Covington schools and Covington athletics.
We're back with week 3 of the winter sports season with BuccsWeekly with junior 152-pounder Keringten Martin. And Keringten, you've gotten off to a great start so far this year to your season. Can you talk about that?
Well, I started off the season, and coming into the season, I had high expectations. I'm going to go big this year. I want to make it far, and I think the way to do it is work hard in practice and work hard in your matches and just go for the best you can, wrestle your heart out, leave it all on the mat.
So you talk about that hard work and commitment. Of course, you guys practice every day, you know, in a wrestling building. What do you do beyond that to kind of give yourself an edge?
Just extra practices and working out at home, just doing the extra stuff, going to the gym whenever you get a chance and helping others and just getting help when you need it. Like, I don't know everything, so I ask for help when I need it, and it's just, you got to go out of your comfort zone sometimes to get the help that you need.
Okay, well, last year you came up short. You had a great postseason tournament, and your weight class, of course, was stacked, and our district is always stacked. Our sectional is always stacked. But you came up two matches short of going to state. How has that kind of driven you in the off season to get better?
It's driven me a lot. Last year, I wanted to make it to state. I wanted to go. I wanted to place, and I just had a tough weight class. It was hard, and it motivated me a lot this year, especially watching Lance last year make it that far. It motivated me this year, and I want to get to the top of the podium this year, and that's my goal.
Okay, well, that's Buccaneer Junior 152-pounder Keringten Martin. Next week we will. The wrestlers are off this week. They don't wrestle until December 16th at the Versailles Invitational. So next week we won't have any wrestling information, but we'll be back in 2 weeks with wrestling. That's it for week 3 of BuccsWeekly. For Ben Robinson, Keringten Martin, Coach Vanderhorst, good night, and you got to say go Bucks.
Go Bucks!
There you go.